Hello everyone and welcome to another video. My name is Pris from Pris Peruses, and as you can see at the title, I am going to be talking about the books that changed my life. I want to talk about 8 books today that all had a huge impact on my life. And why? I am excluding any childhood books out of this because I do want to make a video of that at some point. So these are going to be books that had an impact on me within the last 5 years of my life. So yeah, let's dive into these books. First up, I want to get the book out of the way that I know everyone is going to be expecting, and that is Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger. This book has become part of my identity at this point. I absolutely adore this book. I love the series. This is about a girl called Sophie who discovers that she's an elf, is whisked away from her human world into this elfish world. And from there, all things just unravel about her future, about her past, about everything that she is. I know this is quite controversial as well, because I know there are also people who don't like the series, but I just fell in love from page 1. I fell in love with the characters, I fell in love with the world, and I know when I look at it objectively, it's not the best written book, it's not the best story, but I just don't care. I love this series with whole of my heart, and it has become part of my identity. It changed me in a way that people associate the series with me, which I think is brilliant. It has become such a part of my life here on BookTube, and I just love it. Next up is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. Who is surprised? I read this back in 2018. 2018 was a really bad year for me. I think it was the most hard year of my life. I was struggling with anxiety, depression, and this series, especially this book, really got me back into reading again. And for that, I'm just forever grateful. When I picked up ACOTAR for the first time, I absolutely loved it. But this book, the second book, A Court of Mist and Fury, just blew my mind away. Made me fall back in love with reading again. It made me feel less alone, and it was just an amazing experience. Next up, we have a book that I read around the same time, which is All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. This book has a lot of triggering warnings, so be sure that you are in a right headspace before you get in, because this deals a lot with depression and suicide. This was a really important book for me to be reading when I wasn't in the best place. This book is about Theodore and Violet, who are both really struggling in life, and throughout that they find each other. This book is absolutely heartbreaking, but it had a really positive outcome for me and my life. And I felt so inspired by this as well. So yeah, it definitely had a huge positive impact on me and my depression. Then we have The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. To this day, this book made me cry the most. I have never ever cried so much at a book as I did with this. This was heartbreaking. This is about 2 sisters and their lives in World War II. I know this is fiction, but I learned so much about the story. I learned so much about the war. I learned so much about the women in the war, because we do tend to forget that, I think. It's all about the war and the soldiers that go off to fight for our country. But this book was really about the women that were left behind and the amount of things women did in the war. I just learned so much in this book, and it was an incredible experience. And I also came to realize that it's not only fantasy that can like really have an impact on me. because this is historical fiction, which I don't tend to read that often. I remember reading this and like looking stories up about World War II and being really, really invested in that part of history. So yeah, I definitely recommend this. Next up, we have The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I could also pick The Starless Sea for this. They are quite interchangeable for me. I love both of them, but I do think I like The Night Circus just a smidge more. This book made me realize that I am obsessed with lyrical, whimsical, flowery writing. I was just so invested in this. This is all about the night circus that appears out of nowhere. It's all about two people who are having this magical duel between the two of them. And it is beautiful. It is so beautiful. Erin Morgenstern really has a gift with words. And I loved every second and every minute of it. Next up, we have Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. This is again a beautiful, beautiful, magical, whimsical, lyrical story about three sisters who are witches. And it just made me feel so many things. Like one of the characters, Juniper, she lives in my hand rent-free. She lives there. And she's allowed. I loved this story. It made me realize how proud I am to be a woman. How I basically want to be a witch. I want to be able to do rituals with herbs. And I just want to learn all about witches. And this book just really made me realize that that is okay. Like I can be a witch if I want to, you know? And I am powerful and I can do all the things if I set my mind to it. So yeah, this book was just, it made me feel on top of the world. And it was just an incredible experience. Then we have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I love all Taylor's books, but this one takes the cake for me. This is all about Evelyn Hugo's life story. And I was shocked, let me tell you, shocked that halfway through this story, Evelyn Hugo wasn't real. I was so sad. Because the writing in this was just incredible. I felt so connected to Evelyn Hugo. I felt so much for her. I was obsessed with her. I wanted to watch all of her movies. And then she doesn't exist. What? Why? This just reminded me very much that we are all human. We have feelings and we get hurt. And we get hurt by people, and people come in your life and they leave again. And you fall down and you get back up again. And it's just a roller coaster of emotions through life. And it's not all rays and sunshine. Like, this is about Evelyn Hugo, who is, I know it is fiction, but she is one of the most famous actresses in this world. And you see behind the scenes that it's not all glitz and glamour. And I think we tend to forget that. We see all this prettiness on the internet and on Instagram. We see all this glamorous lifestyle and we see all these pretty pictures. But we do not know what happens behind the scenes. So I think that's a really good lesson to learn. We are all human. We all go through things, we all fall, we get back up again and we get stronger again, and everything that happens to us makes us the persons we are today. And I also cried like a bitch during this one. And then we come to the very last book, which is the book that had the most impact on me and which is also my favorite book of all time, which is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I cannot even express into words how important this book has been to me. I read this at exactly the right time. I was feeling very low. I felt like in a slump, a life slump. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing in life. I didn't know how to get there. I didn't know how to get out of this life slump. And then I read this. It's just rewoken my passion for life again, my passion for being creative, my passion for writing. And it's just been incredible. I cannot thank Victoria enough for writing this book, because this book to this day is so important to me. And I now know what I want to do. I want to do the creative stuff. I want to write stories. I want to write books. I want to make content for YouTube. I want to talk about books. I want to read books. I am just me. I'm Pris, and I'm just a creative soul that wants to do all the creative things, which I'm doing as we speak. So this book has had just such an impact on me, and I felt so inspired by Addie as a character. I related so much to her because I just didn't know what I wanted in life, and when I read this, I knew I just want to leave a mark like Addie did. I want to leave a mark in this life, and I want to inspire other people, and I want to be curious, and I want to discover. This book to me is just a love story about life and loving life, and not necessarily loving people, but love is just so much more than having a romantic or sexual relationship with somebody. I know that's the first thing we think about when we think of love, but what about love for books? What about love for nature? What about love for music and art and food? There are so many things you can love. And this book rewoken everything I loved about life, and I'm just internally grateful for that. That was it. Those were all the books that made a huge impact on my life. I hope you have enjoyed. Please let me know down in the comments which book has shaped your life the most, has had a huge impact on your life. If you have read any of these books I just mentioned, please let me know down below in the comments. And yeah, I will see you soon with another video. Please like if you enjoyed, and if you also could subscribe to this channel, that would be amazing. But for now, I'm gonna leave you, and I hopefully will see you very soon with another video. Bye!